Hey, happy Friday and happy holidays. This week, Apple got a big problem with their Apple Watches. The Galaxy S24 series got completely leaked. Google had to give up $700 million and also their Play Store default. Welcome to the Friday Checkout. This video is sponsored by Brilliant. First in the brief, it sounds like Apple is ramping up production to launch the Vision Pro by February, and we first learned about it from a report by Mark Gurman at Bloomberg, and also from a hint from an Apple email apparently sent to developers to remind them to test their apps for the headset. Can't wait to see how this launch goes. Then, Adobe this week thankfully abandoned its $20 billion deal to buy Figma because regulators unsurprisingly said that buying your biggest competitor when you are already almost a monopoly is pretty much the textbook definition of monopolistic behavior. That's a win for us and a huge loss for Adobe, who had to pay $1 billion break fee to Figma. Oof. Next, Oppo has confirmed that the Find X7 series is coming, and also that it will make use of a new and massive 1-inch Sony Light 900 camera sensor. Nice! And then in chip news, Dutch chip equipment maker ASML has shipped its first high-NA lithography system to Intel, which is the company's next generation extreme ultraviolet machine. Each system costs about $300 million. It comes in 250 separate crates, and Intel is apparently buying the first 6 of 10 machines for its upcoming 18A chip process. Nice! And also this week, a new report suggests that Google will replace the Google Assistant with a new AI assistant called Pixie exclusively on Pixel devices, which will reportedly be powered by Google's new Gemini AI model. Interesting. Moving on, the PlayStation 5 has officially sold 50 million units, and it only took Sony 1 week longer to get there than the PlayStation 4, and the 5 has apparently also outsold the Xbox Series X and S by almost 3-1 during 2023. Not bad for Sony, given all the supply chain issues of the last couple of years, and it's no wonder that Microsoft wants to move on from just competing on consoles to actually competing on Game Pass. Then, in weird space news this week, NASA streamed an HD video of a cat chasing a red dot laser across 18.6 million miles or 31 million kilometers, fittingly using laser communication instead of radio frequencies for a 267 megabits per second data rate. It took the laser 101 seconds to reach Earth, but the video was able to be played back properly. Wild! Cat videos sent from space using lasers. That is pretty amazing. And finally, for the brief, Microsoft's Copilot just made it really easy to create your own song with their AI. You just describe what song you want and wait. And to test it out, I asked it to make a song about a YouTube channel called The Friday Checkout in the style of a Christmas carol, and here's what it came up with.
On the first day of the weekend, my true love sent to me a YouTube channel called The Friday Checkout. On the second day of the weekend, my true love sent to me 2 catchy jingles and a YouTube channel called The Friday Checkout. Sing along The Friday Checkout, check it out now. Join the fun, subscribe, don't be left out. Don't miss out. From tech reviews to comedy skits, The Friday Checkout, the channel that never quits.
That is somehow surprisingly not bad. Full song is linked down in the description, and you can of course try it for yourself as well. Okay, and for my first story of the week, Apple this week was forced to stop the sale of the Apple Watch Series 9 and the Ultra 2 in the United States due to a patent litigation case. The United States International Trade Commission ruled in favor of medical device maker Masimo on 2 patents back in October this year, and while Apple appealed that decision, it couldn't get the ITC to hold off on the ban until the appeal process happened. So the ban is going through, and the last day to purchase the Watch Series 9 and the Ultra 2 from Apple stores will be on the 24th of December, with an import ban officially going into effect on the 26th of December. The ban will only go into effect in the United States, and retailers can actually sell their stock if they already have Apple Watches on hand, but this is pretty unprecedented. Like, we haven't seen such a high-profile product being pulled like this in a really long time. And it seems like this company is not a patent troll, but a real company with a real grievance. Masimo is a medical device maker who even makes smartwatch-like devices, and they're well known for pulse oximetry technology, generally called SpO2 or blood oxygen saturation monitoring, which they've been fighting with Apple over for a while. In 2013, Apple reached out about a potential partnership with them around blood oxygen features, but then instead of making a deal, Apple reportedly just poached loads of Masimo engineers and their chief medical and chief technology officer, and presumably recreated much of the tech internally. Multiple other startups have accused Apple of doing basically the same thing, calling it the kiss of death, which is what happens when Apple first starts talking to a startup as if it was interested, and then instead they just replicate their tech and poach their employees, meaning that this seems to be an actual company strategy of Apple. These are all allegations, obviously, but they make Apple look really ruthless. And of course, they're looking for a way out of this situation, legally speaking, but I can't see the path out of it just yet. Now, what is funny is that Masimo's own pulse oximeter has a proper FDA clearance for medical use, while the Apple Watch does not and only has wellness-level accuracy, and that B, the ban is primarily an import ban, which only hurts Apple because they're actually making all their watches abroad, primarily in China, while Masimo claims to make all of theirs in the United States. I'm obviously not a lawyer, but my quick read here is that Masimo does have a real case here, and their patents actually seem to expire in 2028, so Apple could have a real problem on their hands. Okay, for my second story of the week, another Google loss, and specifically for the Google Play Store and its chokehold on the Android platform. In short, a few months ago, Google settled with all US state attorneys general in one major antitrust case, and this week we found out what actually happens because of that. And to begin with, Google will have to pay $629 million to consumers who may have overpaid for apps or in-app purchases via the Google Play Store, and they have to pay another $70 million or so to the United States government. This is, by the way, not related to Epic, it's actually a separate case, and it's actually quite a lot of money going back to consumers. Now, the bad news is that 102 million people are actually eligible who are United States customers who've made purchases on the Google Play Store between 2016 and 2023, or consumers who've made an in-app purchase in this time. At least 70% of the eligible consumers, or 71.4 million people, will receive automatic payments without them even having to file a claim. So expect like $6 or something after lawyer fees. But the bigger loss to Google is that they'll also have to make some pretty big changes to the Play Store going forward. Most interestingly, for 5 years, Google won't be allowed to make companies exclusively put Google Play on a phone or its home screen. Also for 5 years, Google won't be allowed to require consent before an OEM preloads a third-party app store. And for 4 years, Google will let third-party app stores update apps without requiring user approval. I didn't even know that third-party app stores couldn't do that until now. And this is pretty major. Samsung could, for example, only choose to put the Galaxy Store onto their main home screen, not the Play Store, or OnePlus could ship with the Epic Game Store pre-installed and already on your home screen, etc. Now, is this a net positive? I don't know. I don't want to have more bloatware on my phones. I don't want to have 17 app stores installed because each of my apps is exclusive to one of them. But I guess maybe at least this will bring competition to the market, so we'll just have to wait and see. And talking of Samsung, my third story of the week is that in about 24 hours, we've suddenly learned pretty much everything about the Samsung Galaxy S24 series. First, there are roughly 100 official-looking renders, meaning that we now know what all the models will look like. Then we also saw a timer counting down to Galaxy Unpacked 2024 happening on the 18th of January on South Korean time, or the 17th of January in Europe and the United States. And the well-known tipster Evan Bless also posted basically all the specs, including seemingly confirming a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 on all models in the United States. He confirmed the screen sizes and the fact that each model will be using an M13 LTPO AMOLED screen. There'll finally be a high-resolution QHD screen on the Plus models, which is looking much better. There'll be a titanium build on the Ultra and a whole lot more. Now, on European models, we're actually going to get an Exynos chip again, which I really hope means that after multiple years of taking a break, they finally got their act together and they can deliver something that's actually competitive on the high end. Fingers crossed. Apparently, Samsung on their invite said that Galaxy AI is coming, so I guess AI will be the center like in all tech announcements at the moment. And Samsung did tease their proprietary AI tech for doing things like automatically live translating phone calls and more, so maybe that will be interesting too. Now, AI is clearly eating the world, and if you'd like to learn how things like large language models actually work, then check this out. Brilliant has a fantastic course explaining just that. It goes from beginner to advanced concepts, and it helps you get a real deep grasp of the mechanisms under the hood. Oh, and like always on Brilliant, it is a completely interactive course from the beginning to the end, where you get a practice exercise at the end of every little learning to make sure that you get to test your knowledge and to memorize the key learnings effectively. Brilliant is the best online platform for learning STEM skills from computer science to physics, chemistry, biology, maths, and more. And it's a great resource for students trying to get ahead in school or professionals wanting to upgrade their skills or anybody else who just wants to learn something new. The courses are carefully created to guide you from basic principles and beginner levels all the way to more advanced topics like quantum computing and machine learning. The learnings are broken down into small, easily digestible chunks, and the learnings are then always practiced with interactive lessons right away. This active participation helps you learn way more effectively than just passively reading a book or watching a video. And of course, it's also just a lot more fun. You can sign up for brilliant.org/TFC, which is also linked down in the description. And if you choose to upgrade, then the first 200 people who do so will get 20% off their annual premium subscription. So check them out. Happy Friday, and I'll see you next video.